Okay.
I'm here.
Thank you. Jane?
Here.
Thank you. Jasmine? Jasmine? All right. Jessica?
Here.
Thank you. Johnny?
I'm here.
Thank you. Judy? Judy?
I'm here.
Thank you. Juliana?
Here.
Keith?
Here.
Thank you. Kelsey?
Here.
Thank you. Mariana?
Here.
Thank you. Mason?
Here.
Miranda?
Here.
Robbie?
Here.
Wafa?
Here.
Wesley? Oh, he told me that he's here. Okay. Marcus? And Francesca.
Here.
LaShawn? And Theodora.
Here.
Thank you. We can back to you, Wafa.
Thank you, Misa. Next, I'll pass it to Mason for formation.
Hey guys, my name is Mason Decker. I'm a first year in SGA and the senator for the Dry House College of Business. So before we start our little icebreaker, I just wanted to start us off with a little quote that I found the other day that I thought was really cool. It's, "The key to success is to appreciate how people learn, understand the thought process that goes into instructional design, what works well, and a range of different ways to achieve your goals." It's a quote from Tim Buff. And so with that in mind, we're going to split into breakout groups. And I just want everybody to kind of take turns discussing some study habits or best ways that they've figured out how to learn and adapt working in a classroom setting at home. Yeah, just share some tips and tricks that you have for your fellow SGA members. See if there's anything you guys have in common or anything else. If you hear something interesting you want to try, you know, as we're starting to get ready for finals, stuff like that. So yeah, do you want to?
Okay, is everyone back? I think so. Okay, so next we have Vincentian's story with Father Memo.
Hello, everybody. So we're going to begin with a short video. Then I'm going to introduce the conversation, and then Joanna is going to lead the dialogue around the review of the mission statement. So first the video. And thank you for inviting us.
My name is Susana Martinez, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Modern Languages, where I teach Spanish and Latin American literature. And I am also the director of the Peace, Justice, and Conflict Studies program at DePaul. The Peace, Justice, and Conflict Studies program at DePaul, it's a program where students can learn about peace building in the world, but also very much rooted in Chicago, with courses on restorative justice, on nonviolence, on trauma and healing. I think the mission interacts in my daily work, in my contact with students. I feel like when I'm in that direct contact with students, whether it's in the classroom or it's doing advising, I feel like the students are the mission and they help me connect my ideals as a teacher to the larger mission of the university. The Vincentian mission always has the poor at the center, always has our service to the other as the center of the mission. And it brings it home in a way where I know it's not just theoretical, it's not like just my research or just my teaching. It's knowing that the mission connects to the other and to the most vulnerable in our community. The Peace, Justice, and Conflict Studies does that important work of the mission, reaching out to the most vulnerable in the communities. Our students do that on a real concrete level. Our students are learning to be peacemakers in their contact with the community. So our students take courses where they do direct service in the community, and they will, just interact with so many people that are doing the important work of peace building in their neighborhoods. So our students help to foster those really important relationships. One thing I feel like we should keep in the mission is this care for the other, knowing that like the interconnection to the other, especially now in this pandemic COVID world, we are so isolated in one way, but we're also now becoming more aware of how interconnected we are. So I would think that part of the mission is central, that we are who we are because we're in community with the other.
Thank you. So let me introduce the conversation that we're going to have this evening around the mission statement.
It's fun. Awesome. So we're going to go on to the next part of our agenda, which is the Deputy Chief Justice appointment. So I'm going to hand it over to Kelsey to go over that.
Okay, thanks. Hi. Hope everyone's doing okay. Basically, in very simple sense, if you didn't already know, like as the executive secretary, I am like the chair / the chief justice of the judicial board, J board. And per the J board bylaws, I have to appoint a deputy chief justice that has to be confirmed by all of you. So with the couple of applications that I received from folks on J board, the person that I have brought to appoint to you today is Wesley. And just a description of the deputy chief justice position. Basically, they're meant to be like a sort of right-hand person to me, but also if I can't fulfill my duties on J board for any reason, this person will step up and will also help track and take care of case material should we have a case or a hearing. And if there are any other questions about the position itself, I'm definitely open to answering those. But if Wesley wants to sort of give a description that he gave to me as to why he is interested in the position, he can certainly do that as well. But basically, I'm just bringing, I guess, Wesley to you to be voted on for the Deputy Chief Justice position today. Yeah, so I would open it to all of you if we want to move to discussion or if there's questions. The floor is yours.
So we'll start with questions. If anyone has any, they could raise their hand. And then if there aren't any, we could motion to discussion. So any questions for Wesley? There's no question. Someone can motion to discussion.
Motion to move to discussion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we're now in discussion. Could we remove our, not like remove our guests, but can we put them in the waiting room, please?
For sure. I think it would be helpful to put them in a breakout room, but I don't really know how to do that right now. So I'm gonna put them in a waiting room. Sorry, this takes a
Close everyone back. So yeah, Wesley, you're voted in. Congratulations. The next thing on the agenda is the Sustainability Ad Hoc Committee report. So I believe we're voting on it. It was sent in the email this week, so we're just gonna go into voting on it unless anyone had any questions for Wesley about it. Is there a motion to move to discussion on it?
Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we are now in discussion.
Motion move to vote acclamation.
Hold on, can somebody pause the recording? I don't have the ability to right now.
Thanks. I don't know when I'll get used to that, but beautiful. Hi, everyone. Hope you all are doing good. I know it's like almost 2 hours of a Zoom meeting, so I appreciate your guys' dedication for being here. So there's just a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. I know that in the report that was sent on Tuesday, it said 2 items, but a lot happens on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I added a couple more things. So I hope you guys are okay with that. First thing is Board of Trustees. Board of Trustees was last week, so I just wanted to give you all a couple updates because I said on that. One was just like enrollment updates and challenges to enrollments that they were talking about because we're in the middle of COVID-19, a pandemic. So they were just sharing with the board challenges to enrollment and how we are compared to our competitors like Loyola, other universities that are local to us, and then other private Catholic universities is who we typically like compare ourselves to. They also brought up the Now We Must campaign. And then, as you all know, we just had the mission statement review dialogue. So Father Memo brought that up and presented that to the board. And so thank you all for participating in that. You guys all brought up really important conversation topics. So I really appreciate that. Another thing that they brought up, which I was surprised to hear, was the Ban the Box initiative it's been circulating for a while now, that was mostly spearheaded by the Students Against Incarceration. And SGA was able to help stand in solidarity with them. And we, if you guys didn't know, we passed a resolution about it last year. Just kidding, that was this year, that was February. So time just is a crazy concept. And so they did discuss about it. And so they're not actually removing the box, but they're moving it. So rather than banning the box completely, they're moving it to the end of the application, or like after the application process. Their way of thinking was that they didn't want to deter anyone from withdrawing their application because they came across this question. And so rather than removing it completely, they added it till after the application process. It'll still take like 1 to 2 years for it to fully be implemented. Yeah, it's still mandatory. But that was the conversation that they had. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on that.
Point of information. I was just wondering, when you say it's at the end of the application, I just like, does that mean they submit it? And then like, what do you mean by the end? Sorry, I'm just trying to think of like if I was filling it out.
You're good. Yeah, from my understanding, it's that they finish submitting their application. And I think part of the questions that they get asked, sorry, as a student, sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but they would fully submit their application. And then I think part of just questions that they have for all incoming students, I believe it would be included there. That was my understanding of what was said, but that the whole application process would be finished first. And that wouldn't be within the questions that they're asked in the application process. But I hope that answers your question. And they was, oh, sorry, I saw you unmuted.
Oh, just thank you. Thanks.
Cool. And so I think it'll take still 1 to 2 years for it to be implemented, just because I think working with the Common App and all of that functions just take a while for it to go through. Another thing that we were able to bring up, since we're talking about, I agree with Francesca. Sorry, I'm like trying to read the chat and then talk at the same time. I just won't look at the chat. Sorry. So, but yeah, we were also able to bring up like remote learning, and then like how students' mental health is suffering from remote learning, and then being in the middle of a pandemic, and then also like the upcoming elections that are coming up and how stressful that is for students. So I just wanted to say I really appreciate your guys' conversation that we had a couple weeks ago, and that was brought up. And we were able to talk about that because they specifically asked me to talk about remote learning. I see Wesley's hand.
Yeah, I just had a question because you're talking about like enrollment, or they talked about enrollment at board trustees. I had saw, and this is maybe you don't have an answer, and it's not an answer, but something I want to bring up. But faculty council on an article that came up from DePaul, it was like a week or so ago, actually a couple of weeks now, was talking that DePaul had actually a surplus enrollment. Like, has that changed since this was published in like the 7th of October? Like they had a surplus enrollment for the fall, like more than they had budgeted in the budget, or like more than they had expected to get. Was that like, were they saying that it was negative? Because like, I'm surprised to hear that, because like the last that I had heard was that we were actually like in the surplus of our enrollment. We were doing better than expected. Courtney, I see you raising your hands. So I guess if you have an answer.
Yeah, Alyssa, is it okay if I answer?
Mhm.
Yeah, they provided some update. We had the state of the university this morning with faculty and staff, so I have the exact numbers. So the freshman class is the largest class that DePaul has ever seen. We have this year we have 2,774 first-year students. Just if you're curious about some statistics, 49% of them are students of color, 34% are first generation, and 32% of them are out of state. So that is up 6% in comparison, and which is significantly higher than the national average. The national average is that freshman year or freshman enrollment is actually down 7%. So DePaul is doing significantly better than that. However, we have dropped in sophomore, junior, seniors, and grad students. Our enrollment has dropped there. So our total number of students is down 142 students, which equates to 0.6%. So the freshmen, the first year student budget is up, or like the net tuition revenue from first year students, but the other students, that we had a higher melt rate is what they'll call it. And actually it might be, if we're talking about presentations, it might be great for Sumitra, who's the vice president for enrollment management, to come and talk about these too if you're interested in more statistics. But we're down 0.6, which is also less than they previously anticipated. But we are down in 2021 applications. So they don't quite yet have projections for winter and spring. Because this year is just, they're trying to make models, and every model is changing. Obviously, because of the pandemic, all of our typical projections seem to be out the window. But those were the numbers that were presented to us this morning in the State of the University address.
Well, could you put like the like numbers stuff in the chat, just because like I wasn't able to write it all down?
Yeah.
Thanks.
And it'll be, they also record the State of the University address, and I get both the student newsline and the faculty staff newsline. When it's eventually processed, it should be posted in the newsline, but I'll be sure to take a look and see if it's going in the student and the faculty staff one.
Cool.
Cool, thank you both. Yeah, if Sumitra is someone that you guys want to like hear more from, I can definitely invite him and we can talk more about enrollment and things like that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, oh, sorry, I see hands. Kevin, is your hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask real fast, maybe Courtney, if you maybe know this. I know like over the summer, a lot of like the freshmen like waitlisted themselves until starting in winter quarter. Did they like speak to that at all by chance, to like how many exactly? Because I know I had a few students that like were with me for orientation that they told me like towards the end, after we decided to go like fully remote, like they were waitlisting themselves. Did they say how many like took that route?
what you're talking about, Kevin, is called deferred enrollment. They didn't talk about those numbers this morning, but I will go through my previous notes. I have all of my notebook notes forever at my time at DePaul and see if I can find any of those metrics. It might take me longer than this meeting though, but I can also, it sounds like a lot of the questions you all are asking, it might be worth inviting Sumitra because he will be able to tell you all of those statistics as well.
Cool, thank you both. Okay, I'll invite him. Beautiful. So I also wanted to bring up the policy review group, which we met today. So I wanted to like give you guys an update, a brief update. So we talked about 3 policies that are in review, which is the affirmative action plan, protection of minor children, and then the Title IX sexual harassment policy and procedures. You already know about the policy of Title IX because Catherine Statz came and talked to us all a couple weeks ago. For the affirmative action plan, I will bring that all to you guys so that we can discuss it further next week. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, be on the lookout for that. So I'll bring it up next week. Cool, moving on in my president's report, I also wanted to bring up, if you guys haven't seen yet, I sent you all a Google form about questions, concerns for President Esteban. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna add it to the chat here too, so that folks who didn't receive it in their email can also have the opportunity to add to those questions and add to those concerns, because I'm in the process of sending that to them because they would like it in advance. So please let me know any questions or concerns you have, fill out that form. And then we're also gonna work in making that accessible in our social media as well, so that the rest of the student body can also submit questions and concerns. But yes, okay, so another thing is the Blue Demon Week committee. So Blue Demon Week, I forgot when that was or when it's going to be, but it's coming soon. And usually SGA, a couple members get to serve on that committee, and it's really fun. You assist in planning events and programs in Blue Demon Week. So is there anyone here who's interested in serving in that? I swear it's fun. Correct me if I'm wrong, is Blue Demon Week, is that when the dodgeball thing happens? I know that's not gonna happen this year, but.
Yeah, Alyssa, you're right.
Okay, cool. So does anyone want to serve on that? I'm like flipping through. Cool, okay. I don't see anyone who wants to serve on that, but I will. Okay, yay, we have someone. Thanks, Kevin. Cool, I will send you, there's a Google, just kidding, it's not Google, but it's a D-Hub link. I'll send that to you. Thank you. Okay, another fun thing is Student Affairs Halloween party. Okay, cool, thanks, Watfa. So there's a Student Affairs Halloween party. It's happening, I believe it's next week already, the 29th. Wow. So before this meeting, the Division of Student Affairs is holding a Halloween party. They do this every year. We have contests for like best costume, and then we also have like a pumpkin carving or decorating contest. And so we always have SGA members serve as judges to those, and that is also fun. So is there anyone who wants to serve as judges who like really loves Halloween and wants to judge other people's costumes and pumpkin making things? OSI's never won the contest. That sucks. Maybe this year's your year. So I need 3 to 4 volunteers for that. Is anyone want to volunteer? Yay, okay, I see Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. Cool. Anyone else?
Alyssa, me too.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm just blind, I'm telling you. Okay.
It's okay. Guys, this is so fun, by the way. It's a blast.
When is it?
It'll be next week, right before our meeting. So the October 29th, 3:30 to 5. Cool. I see Kelsey, and then I see Erica. Yay, that's 4. Is there anyone else? I'm sorry, it's already 4. Oh, well, take my name off. Okay. Okay. Cool. Is there anyone else that wanted to? I have 3 people. Beautiful. Thank you all. Have fun. Tell us who wins. Cool. With that, I yield.
Cool. Okay. Vice President's report, I'll keep it quick. GV retreat is Saturday from 10 to 2. It's expected that everyone's there. If you can't make it, make sure you fill out the absentee form. And there's going to be something you have to do to make it up. So I believe we're going to be recording it and you just have to watch it. We're going to be providing a lot of good information through it. So just make sure if you can make it that you're there, and if you can't, like communicating that and then watching the recording. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. So I hope you guys are too. That's all I have. And then next we'll go on to the advising report with Courtney and Ariel.
Thanks, everybody. Just as an FYI, I can't find the deferred recruitment or the deferred enrollment numbers, so we might have to ask Sumitra when he comes. Sorry, I'm flipping through my notes here. I wanted to remind folks, particularly our senators who are affiliated with academic colleges, you have an email from me asking about your participation in the tree lighting ceremony, so be sure to check that out. I know we have some newly appointed senators as well, so I'll be sending information to you too. So first and foremost, welcome to the team. We're happy you're here. It should hopefully be a wonderful time. I think particularly for the senators who are able to be there, it'll be great because most of your deans will also be there. So it'll be a little less formal than a Zoom meeting, and you'll be able to, talk from a distance. I also want to remind everyone that the general election is in 12 days. I would highly encourage you all to, make your plan to vote and talk to your friends about voting. Don't want to take up too much of your time knowing that the debate is going on and some of you may want to watch it. But if you don't know where your polling place is or how to get registered, you can go to vote.org. It is a nonpartisan place that will walk you through the process. I particularly want to remind you, if you are not yet registered to vote and you live in the state of Illinois, you can walk up and vote the day of the election. So just make sure that you read everything you need so that you can do that. But that is your right. If you are, as a citizen here in the US. So I highly encourage you all to exercise that right. It is a very, very important year. But as always, if you need anything, please let me know. We're here for you. I know people like, even for me, the weather's starting to change. So, it feels like my emotions are a little bit off and I've had to be a little bit more cognizant of my mental health lately. If you feel like you need someone to talk to, University Counseling Services is there. If you don't want to go to counseling and you just want to check in with someone, I would be happy to spend some time with you in a virtual environment. So you are always welcome to reach out to me, but we care about you and we hope you are doing well. But I'll turn it over to Ariel.
Thanks, Courtney. Yes, definitely want to echo what Courtney said. If you guys need any extra support or help, like you guys know, I'm always here for you. And just a reminder that a reminder of our bi-weekly meetings. I haven't seen a few of you guys in a while, so I'm looking forward to seeing you. If for some reason you forgot when your meeting was or anything like that, definitely just shoot me a message and we can schedule, or I can check the schedule. And I'm just looking forward to seeing all you guys.
Awesome. Thank you both. Next we have affirmations. So we'll give it to 8:07-ish and just pick someone and send them something to make their day.
Okay, I'm gonna play music because it's so quiet. I'm just gonna continue what I was playing earlier. So
hold on. If you are gonna play music, can you do me a favor and pause the recording, because otherwise a copyright claim goes on YouTube and it mutes the video.
It's okay. I just won't play music.
You can sing.
Okay. Let's all just play music in our heads.
Yeah.
Oh man, I
You can
forgot.
always play royalty-free music, but otherwise they put a copyright claim on it and it gets a little bit funky.
Okay, I'm gonna look for royalty-free music.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're still writing, you could go ahead and wrap up. Next we have new business. Anyone have any new business?
I have new business very quickly. Hello, everyone. So, as I talked about last meeting, the mental health ad hoc committee is kind of up and starting. We're going to have our first official meeting this coming week. I also had a chance to meet with Courtney regarding some of the things we talked about, especially like mental health in connection to this year's election. So I'm really excited because Courtney and I are working on a panel event on November 2nd, which is actually the day before the election. And we're going to be talking to a few folks about, taking care of yourself during this time of kind of a lot of political uncertainty. So more to come on that, but I wanted to put that on everyone's radar, and the mental health committee will be discussing that at our first meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Francesca. Anyone else for new business? I'm actually really excited for that. I think it's going to be great, and it's definitely necessary. I know a lot of students have reached out to me about like what DePaul is doing to provide resources around election time, so that's a good start. Thank you. If no one has anything else for new business, we can go on to questions, comments, and concerns. Anyone has any of those?
Yes. So elections for the fall SGA, the results are in. So we are going to be getting those out tomorrow. I will be emailing all of the candidates tomorrow morning. The emails are all scheduled for 9 a.m. And then everything is going to be posted tomorrow around 6 p.m. So you can expect to hear about all of the winners tomorrow at 6. So thanks for all your help with elections and everything. It went great.
Thank you, Jane. Shout out to Jane and her EOB. They did a ton of work and it was awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to see who our new senators are. Anyone else?
Really quickly, do we have access to the bylaws? If not, like, how do we get access to these documents? Because I'm getting really annoyed that like there's no way to access some things about the board and things like that.
The Board of Trustees bylaws.
Yes, thank you, Wesley.
Courtney, do you have an answer for that? I don't.
I am looking right now. I'm not seeing anything like readily publicly available. But I will get an answer for you for next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see David has his hand up.
So this is like kind of a weird question, but since we're talking about the election, not exactly a politic way of putting this, but does the university have like contingency planning in place in case, after the election we have like or a civil war or something like that? Because at this point, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, probably won't happen, but this is 2020.
Yeah, I think that's another Courtney question.
Yep. So David, sorry, it was a little bit hard to hear you, so I apologize if I missed part of your question. So feel free to ask it again if I don't address all parts of it. But I think I told you all last week, I participated in a meeting on Tuesday to hear a little bit more about what is planned following the election. So we're taking that approach of like these 3 distinct time periods, right? Like before October 18th, the focus was on voter registration. Right now we're in this process of encouraging messaging surrounding getting out and actually voting. And then November 3rd and on until we figure or find out who the president is. like what support looks like for the students there. So there are a number of spaces that different offices and academic departments are creating for discussion for students. So like OSI has a few spaces, OMS has a couple spaces, University Counseling Services is developing spaces, HPW is participating in those as well. So in terms of like the immediate reaction for students, and their like the needs that they might have in response to what those results are, the conversation I know I personally am leaning into a little bit more too. Not I don't think a lot of you were here 4 years ago during the election, but it was quite an interesting time to be on a college campus because there were chalkings that happened on campus, and a lot of things that were quite hurtful, and it was a time like I've never experienced in a college campus, and it's continued to be further than that. So the university does have some normal procedures surrounding protest, like a protest response, but I don't know yet. I don't quite know yet how those have changed in the pandemic. So I don't know if that helps to address what you're looking for or things on campus, or if you're looking for any more specific direction. But I know right now I'm working with some folks so that we can get messaging out to students so that you all actually know what is actually available to you. Because right now I feel like it's just all sitting on websites and in people's emails, and we haven't done a great job of communicating that to students. So we need to start getting it out to you all. So I know that's something I'm personally trying to work on right now.
I don't know, to put it a little bit more bluntly, over the summer, we had federal agents pulling protesters into unmarked cars in Portland at the same time as FOP President John Costanza was wandering around downtown Chicago and telling Trump to do the same thing here, at the same time as the university was talking about how wonderful the FOP was. And since like the entire shit show that happened with the Columbus statue is like half a mile from my apartment with the downtown campus, I did not feel very safe with the way the university was handling that. And I was just wondering if the university was doing anything about the whole, jackbooted feds issue, which who knows could happen. Probably not, but.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing I can only, I guess, speak to my experiences in student involvement, and like, we are having, I mean, we had one, my staff had one today where we're talking through, what happens if we keep a 45th president, and, what happens if we get a 46th, and even, if and when we get a 46th, like, what does the current administration do in the month and a half between now and then, and what does that do for people who might support that mentality, because that can be really scary, and I think you as an organization are doing a spectacular job of pushing DePaul to remind administrators that neutrality and silence favors the side of the oppressor. And I think that DePaul needs to lean into that a little bit more. And I know the conversations that, at least that I get to participate with staff and administrators, your voice is being heard in that regard. So it's not I don't have like here's the 10-step plan of what DePaul is planning if and when there very well may be that plan. I am not in those conversations though. But I know that it is happening at a lot of different levels. Again, I don't know if that's helpful to hear, but I can only speak to, my experience in OSI and student affairs.
Well, presumably some of the planning works better if it's somewhat confidential.
If it's somewhat what, sorry?
Confidential.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the worst case scenario planning at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. Thank you both for that. see what.
Muted. Whoops. I just have two quick things. The first one, if you all didn't see yesterday, there was a second sustainability student pulse survey, and I have some kind of responses to it. I want to share it as opposed to sending it in general Slack because there were just a bunch of messages today, so I don't want to keep flooding people. So we actually got even more responses than the last one, which was, I mean, it's not that many more, but which was surprising to me. I thought we'd drop off after kind of that first one. So we got 1,738 responses. And we had around 20% of people who said yes, which was expected. So the question was, do you know enough about, or do you know about DePaul sustainability efforts? 20% people said they did. 80% people said they didn't, which was kind of what we expected. And while this is great that we're getting all these responses, the next two, so there's one that's going to happen on November 4th, and there's one that's going to happen on November 18th. So both of these, I will remind people when it gets closer, but both of these are like even more important than these two because these ones are like the big meaty ones. These are the two next questions are, should DePaul do more for sustainability? If we can get like 2,000 responses that are saying, 90% or 95% of people are saying yes, that would be killer. So like when the day comes, if you can share it, I will remind everyone, especially on Twitter, there was like very low responses on Twitter. So if you got a big Twitter presence, I would retweet would be great. And so the one after that, the one that's on the 18th, which I think is even bigger, is should DePaul have a sustainability plan? So if we get a lot, even if we get 2,000 on that one, I'd be happy. In terms of people saying yes as well, 95%, that would be great, or 90%. Those ones are huge because like that, if we have this data that says like 2,000 people, presumably mostly students, say yes, DePaul should have a sustainability plan, then that's like killer information that we can go to the university and go, look at this, students want this, how can we make it happen? So I just want to tell everyone that like I'll keep sharing the information that comes along, but like please share it. Like if you can, vote in it. Obviously, if you haven't been, please vote in it. But I'll remind everyone that once it gets closer, I just want to share that kind of as a coming up thing in terms of like it's going to happen soon, and like they're going great so far. So I've just been impressed. But that is all.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, if not, I know a lot of people want to go to. I'm sorry, I was reading something. Okay, I know a lot of people want to go to the debate. So with that, is there a motion to? Oh, I motion to adjourn this meeting at 8:19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, sounds good. I'll see you guys next week.